Hey everybody, Ben here for the Bonehead podcast, and we've got a very cool Kickstarter preview for you today. We're going to be having a look at the Galadur's 3D printing Savanna team. Now, this is a proper physical Kickstarter for resin models. They are printed very, very high definition. In fact, if you've seen the podcast last week, this weekend, you will have noticed that as I was unboxing, I was talking to Ben about them, and I couldn't figure out if they were resin or printed. It took a little bit of investigation, which was a very cool thing to happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the Kickstarter, which is still going on. It's got over 2 weeks to go. So if you watch this video and think, wow, they're cool, you can go back them. And then most importantly of all, we're going to have a look at the models themselves. Now, the sun has come out today in honor of this safari team. So forgive me if I'm a bit brighter than normal, but I have no way to cover that. It's going through the curtains and everything. Anyway, let's have a look at the Kickstarter itself. So this is the Savanna team. I love this. Raw First and Block Hard by Galadur's 3D printing. Now, as we go down, you can see this is what the team is itself. Let's see if we can zoom in at all. No, okay, fine. Going to be like that. So this team is made up of just man-shaped animals. So we've got elephant, we've got rhinos, we've got hippos, and then the linemen are little chimpanzees, which are brilliant. Now, if you're on some of the Blood Bowl Facebooks and things like that, you would have seen these models in development. Now, that's proving to be a really good way to show off your project. So if you're out there and planning a Kickstarter for Blood Bowl or something like that, take a look at what Galadur here has done, because actually I've been waiting for these models for a long time, and as soon as they came on Kickstarter, I was like, oh yes, we've got to back this, we've got to get on this. So I mean, we'll scroll down and have a look at some of the players. So let's have a look at the price point, where my head is right in the way. So the price point is £62 or €73 for a complete Savanna team. And that's what I've gone and backed. You get the elephant, you get rhino dudes ×4, you get bully hippos ×2, you get 6 chimpanzees and 2 baboons. Now, as we look at the player types, we can kind of talk through what teams would work for this build. But as you look at the models, I guarantee you will start thinking, ooh, if I got extra of this, I can make this work, I can make this work. So what other standalone ones are there? There's a £1 one where you can standalone models, where you can just add what you want. And there was an early bird that I missed out on. So actually, that is it. You're looking at £62 plus postage, which is probably about another £10. So £70 for a team with a big guy, 6 big dudes, 6 chimpanzees, 2 baboon runners. So actually pretty decent. So let's have a look at the models. Let's have a look at the designs. Sorry, then we'll have a look at the models. So one big guy, an elephant. Just amazing. The sculpt on this guy is super cool. It gets across. You've got the Blood Bowl bit, but you've also got that elephant thing. It's a really well executed piece. You've got a bunch of these rhino blockers, basically 6 heavy guys, which is cool. So you've got 2 pairs of 2 rhinos, different poses. So that's 4 rhinos. Then you've got 2 hippos as well. So immediately I'm thinking big guy and 6 strength 4 blocker dudes. We're looking at black orcs. We're looking at potentially lizardmen as well. So that's the cool thing about third-party teams, is you can mix and match. And here we go. This is where the monkeys come in. So 6 chimpanzees and 2 baboons. So you've got a great variety of sculpts here. So again, this is working perfectly for a lizardman team, for black orcs as well. And there's a bunch of stuff you could do. I love the sculpts of these. They're very characterful. And you've got the 2 throwers as well. Now, this will work well for a lizardman team, as you've got these guys could be the chameleon skinks, essentially. Anyway, and there's a few stretch goals as well. We've got tokens. We've got little tokens. There's an extra rhino that you can add on as well. I'm not sure if that includes it because it's a stretch goal, but maybe it does. I don't know if it does, so maybe not. This pledge level includes stretch goals for the rewards listed below. So there we go. So you get rhino dude, you get the token for the big guys as well, another rhino dude. There you go. So now you've got 6 rhinos as well, so you could even use it as an ogre team, because the rhinos are quite nicely sized. More tokens, a very cool star player. Now, I do know that we've got this model in our box of goodies to have a look at. The angry lion coach, I think we've got that to look at as well. And Lemon and Zumba, Timon and Pumbaa star player combo here, which is very, very cool. I like this. This is a really good way of doing it. Size for strength 1 and strength 3 characters. So you've got Helmet Wolf there, and then you've got Acorn, which is a very cool way of doing it. Get some cheerleaders there. I don't know if they're unlocked yet. They are unlocked because absolutely crushed it. And individual model prices, so you can choose how to add it. Now, $8 for a single model. is probably about right when it comes to bigger guy models. And it's brilliant. And there's some cool extra star players that you can add on too. Now, let's have a look at the models themselves. So we've got a big box of toys to review. So we can... Oh! Okay, so we played Dungeon Bowl. And I got to rebuild some of the camera setup. So we're working through it. You get a big box of bases here. And they look like 32mm bases. No 40s in there, but 32mm is going to work for most of what we've got. And I know I'm a big fan of 40mm for big guy bases, but it's probably not necessary. So let me get the goods out of the box. Oh, hippos come out of the bag. And really good packaging. Lots of protection for your models, which is what we want. Okay, so what do we have in this box of goodies? We've got Star Player there. We've got some Rhino big guys. Let's have a look at the Rhinos. I think the Rhinos are probably my favorite players in the set. I'm a big fan of these guys. This looks to be, I think those might be the extra Rhinos that we've got via the stretch goals. And we've got more big guys here. And we've got more big guys here. So I'm going to assume these are the two stretch goal guys. Anyway, we've got all of our medium guys. Okay, we've got the big guy, the elephant, but we're going to come to him in a minute. What we've got is 6 rhinos. Let's get rid of the bags out this shot. And 2 hippos. We'll have a look at the sculpts. Then we will do the ubiquitous size comparison. So you can already see on the screen how cool these models are. I'm going to bring it up to the camera and see if we can't get a nice focused shot. There we go. I think that might be as good as I'm going to get until I do that. There we go. Okay, so this is a 3D print. And when I was looking at these models with Ben, this one's got a few scratches on it, but I mean, the print is almost perfect. So this is debris left over from the cleanup. So they've been properly cleaned, which is really nice to see. But you can see on the top of the model here, there are no 3D printing rings, which is incredible. Now, when I was looking at these with Ben, I wasn't sure whether they were 3D printed or not, because there was no ringing. So ringing is what happens when you 3D print a model. And the only way I could figure they were 3D printed is by turning them over and seeing you've got these little pinpoints underneath, which are the supports. But as you go around and have a look at these models, these are probably the crispest 3D prints I've seen. They are even crisper, I think, than Grebo. And Grebo do some seriously good stuff. Anyway, that's one of the hippos. We've got another one of the hippos here who is just a chunky boy. I love the way they've got the mouth here. Now, they've done a really good job. You've got the team logo throughout, but also getting that animal sort of posing, and you get the animal details through on this. Every one of these poses, every one of these positionals is done really, really, really well. Let's grab one of the rhinos because I absolutely flipping love these. I think these are superb models. Now, like I said, it kind of reminds me of Bebop and Rocksteady from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as a kid, and that is just something that I love. I love the posing here. Each one of these poses is done really, really well. Now, they're similar enough, but you've got some dynamic poses here too, with the big rhinos just running around. And this one, obviously, it's a rhino, so it's going to be rushing with a horn, and you get that bit of movement. I mean, just the sculpts are great, and the casting is great as well, or printing, as it were. Like, I don't even know how I would go around getting anything printed like this on my printer. So these dudes have got some serious gear. Model production quality, top. Absolutely top. Now, most importantly, let's have a look at the size. So, these are strength 4 boys. So, obviously, we've got to go for the classic Black Orc test. Let's grab one of the rhinos. I haven't based any of these yet, but we can do a nice size comparison. And it passes the Black Orc test. Now, the cool thing about third-party teams is they're not restricted. So, you can take one of these guys and chuck it into any one of your teams. But, looking at the size-wise, this lines up brilliantly to Black Orcs. I do have, from the College of Fire here, a bright orange ogre. And you can see that actually, size-wise, the ogre's got a little bit on the rhino. As it kind of should, because the rhino's supposed to be a strength 4 piece. But compared to strength 3, you could use one of these rhinos as a big guy in one of your teams. So there's a slightly taller rhino because of the positioning. Now the ogre's hunched over a little bit, so when it comes to actual size by size, it lines up okay. This guy's got a bit more heft to him, but actually I think strength 4 is probably the most appropriate. So chaos. You know, I think the Black Orc and Lizardman team analogy is absolutely right here. And we got a strength 3 human thrower, human nobility thrower. We kind of moved over to the second series as our kind of testers. You know, got strength 3 humans, strength 2 goblins, strength 4 Black Orcs. And one rhino could absolutely be used as a minotaur, you know, in one of your teams. Anyway, these are very, very cool. They size up beautifully, and that's really the most important thing when it comes to a stylized team like this. They've gone hard on a single design aesthetic, but the sizing is right for players, and the design is right. Now, this, however, is just a phenomenal model. Let me see if I can get it a little bit closer on the camera. And look at that. Okay, so you can see we've got great sculpting there. Beautiful work on the face of the elephant giant player. Oh, what if it was a giant? Might have to have a word, see if we can print up some giants of these. Anyway, it's a big model, and it's got all that Blood Bowl aesthetic. Okay, so you've got that chonked armor, you've got the big spikes, you've got the ropes. I mean, the design is, if this had a Chaos Warrior head or something, it would be 100% an ogre, right? But we've gone with that Savanna theme, that safari theme, and you can see that the motion of the trunk is excellently done as well. You've got the team logo, and this bit I think is something that cannot go unmentioned. Games Workshop models, Blood Bowl models have skulls everywhere, right? This guy has just a straight up human head, so I love that. That's a nice little juxtaposition of the animals having humans as trophies. Yeah, I mean, it's a lovely model. It's been done really, really well. And size is just about right. Let's line it up with the ogre. So it's taller than the ogre. It's bigger than the ogre. This guy is plenty large enough to be a strength 5 anything. It's not as large as some of the nonsense I use for my strength 5 stuff. But actually, this is a sensible size for a Blood Bowl model. And, you know, when it comes to the height test, it's got about a head on the ogre, but you can see that by doing the old cylinder test, which is really important, it will fit in a square, and because of the design of the model, it is contained in its own zone, so it's not going to cause any massive issues. So huge thumbs up for for the big guys, okay, for the strength 4 pieces, for this absolute chunk of a absolute chunky player of a elephant. Now we've got some monkeys. Let's have a look at the monkeys, because we've got chimpanzees and we should have some baboons in here as well, and we've got a goblin ready to go because these guys are probably best to represent strength 2 players. Where do we start? Okay, let's go with one of the standard monkeys here. Alright, I like this. You can see the detail immediately. I will bring it up a little bit closer to the camera so we can get a nice shot, but you can see crisp, clean detail. That guy is eating. Okay, do you know what? I got really excited for a second because I thought he had a cigar. I was like, that is stylish, but he's actually just eating a banana, which is appropriate, I think. Whether it's factual or not, I don't know, but these guys are playing Blood Bowl, so whether monkeys like bananas, probably less important than the fact that they probably don't like Blood Bowl. They should. It's the best game out there. Anyway, we've got a cool chimpanzee. We've got some great sculpts here. We've got one of the baboons here. Now, really cool face detail here. That is a really good, let's see if we can get that on the camera a little bit better. A really, really, really nice sculpt. Gets a lot of violence, you know, kind of, it's quite a terrifying face. It reminds you of, like, what is it, 28 Days Later? One of the ones with the monkeys that spread the big disease. A really interesting one. And another one here with the bull is a chimpanzee. And here's your other baboon. Like, they've got absolutely brilliant sculpts, really good dynamic poses, and excellent finishing. Now, the most important thing is the size test, so we'll get this monkey, and we'll get this little monkey here, also known as a goblin, and we'll do the size test on these two models. And you know what? It's perfect. Size-wise, it lines up just about right. I always felt that the Black Orc Goblins were a little bit on the smaller size, but these guys would be beautiful for size 2, and at a stretch, could be size 3, as in strength 3. Don't think you're going to get away with it, but if your whole team is strength 3, then it's fine. but actually they size up really, really, really well to a strength 2 goblin, or therefore a strength 2 skink. So the chimpanzees, there's some great little sculpts on there, some beautiful printing, no damage at all, hardly any print marks, which is impressive. Now we've also got one of the stretch goals, which is the big monkey stretch goal, the big star player guy. And this is wicked too. Let's zoom in on the camera. And again, beautiful detail. Really, really outrageously crisp print with hardly any pock marks and hardly any support marks. Like, when I was 3D printing a lizard man with teeth. Yeah, Croxagore, teeth, both sides. Very difficult to print. So the fact that you can't really see very many, if any, supports here is a level of 3D printing that I think almost transposes into wizardry. So I'm a big fan of magic, big fan of wizards in the Blood Bowl pitch, big fan of Dungeon Bowl because of that. This is wicked, but look at the knives. Like, the design of the knives, the design of the model is fantastic. It's a chunky piece, this one. Is it as big as the elephant? I think he's probably about the same size. He's a little bit smaller than the elephant, but I mean, actual heft, he is good to go, shall we say, and dominates presence-wise compared to a Games Workshop Ogre. And that is the benchmark for a Strength 5 piece. This dude is clearly Strength 5, and this is the really great thing. Because you've got theme, because you've got this kind of like third-party flexibility, this dude can essentially be whoever you want him to be. You know, he could be your Morg. He could be your Zug if you're playing that way. He could be Varag. You know, it could be any star player that is of a big size. Technically, could even be your Griff because you're using him as an independent model. So really like that. That is very, very, very cool. We've got some more stretch goal bits and bobs here as well. So we've got, I don't know if that's maybe a bit damaged, probably because of the way I've been unbagging and unboxing this stuff, but there we go. So we've got the Acorn model, or the Timon and Pumbaa set here, which is the meerkat with absolute dagger claws, which I love. And then this one here, for me, is the best. So this will be the chainsaw wielding warthog. Now, I don't know what Galador's plan is, but I think we need more Warthogs. I wonder if he could do a Chaos team for us with a bunch of Strength 3 Warthogs, because this is a great aesthetic. It blends in nicely with like the Beastman theme. And I mean, who doesn't love chainsaws? Beautifully done. And again, I mean, look at the way the tail lines up to the leg there. How have you printed this? I'm starting to get worried that there's been some genuine like sacrifice demon magic here, voodoo level magic, to get this into existence. And I think that just about wraps up what we've got to have a look at, with the exception of our tokens and of course the big lion coach, which makes me think of bed knobs and broomsticks. Don't know if you guys ever saw that, but we've got a Lion King here with a headset. He's got his little coaching papers, he's got his jacket, we've got the team logo there again. This is a cool model. I mean, it's really thematic and it goes in nicely with the team. If you want him on the pitch, you can do. Maybe a good white dwarf, maybe. But sizes up again, strength 5 there. We've got some cool tokens to mark that the elephant is prone or stunned, which, if you play with big guy models, this kind of thing is incredibly useful. Hey, we did get a cheerleader. We got a cheerleader model as well, which is very cool. You got the token here, and you got the reroll here as well. And most importantly of all, you get a ball, and you get the snake. And there you have it. A very, very, very cool team. It is stylized, okay? So if you don't like the idea of monkeys and rhino men playing Blood Bowl, then this is not the team for you. If you do like that aesthetic, and you do like top quality models, because these are unnecessarily good, and that's there's only a few companies that I will say that about. There's only a few, and this is now one of them. Okay, so Galador has done an incredible job. The sculpts are beautiful. The execution of the models are beautiful. The quality of the print is really impressive as well. The sizes are perfect, and there are tons, if you guys watch our channel, there's tons of like self-sculpted companies bringing out models where they haven't got the scale quite right. These guys have nailed it, which is perfect, and it's so important when you're buying 3D actual physical models. These are not STLs. This is exactly what you're going to get, and it is top quality. I don't know how you feel about the fact that they're 3D printed. I prefer it because if we got this Kickstarter a few years ago from a resin printed model producer, this would be in a headpiece, probably have a couple of arms spare to get good print, to get good prints, good castings. No, this is just one go. I've got this very cool model, and you know what I have to do now? I have to paint him. That is it. This is pre-assembled, ready to go. Because it's been cleaned up, all you got to do is prime it and you're good to go. Absolutely love this. I was super excited about this Kickstarter. I'm super excited about to get the models. Blood Tithe wants to paint them, and I don't know if I want to let him or not, but I think I'm going to have to because he's a much better painter than I am. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Like I said, this has still got over 2 weeks left on Kickstarter, so go check it out. And if you want some fun models to represent several Blood Bowl teams, you're good to go. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to help support the channel even further, please like and subscribe, or come join us on our Patreon. We have early access to content. We get loads of feedback from you guys, and we try and do competitions as much as we can. Or you can get yourself some Bonehead podcast merch on our Spreadshirt site. So if you want to support a team, especially for the Bonehead Championship, you can pick up a shirt, a mug, things like that. It all helps support the channel, and we really appreciate it. Anyway, links below. Thank you very much. Happy blocking.